Imagine waking up every day with clarity, purpose, and direction. Welcome everyone to another new exciting episode of Connect with Eleanor in the year 2025. I'm glad that we landed safely. I want to talk about something that is very important to me in this new year, which is staying focused and staying productive. I truly believe that the world that we are in is one where it is very easy for us to get distracted and lose sight of what we want to achieve, especially in a new year where we have so many bills to settle, we have so many things going on in our lives. It's very easy for us to be distracted and lose focus on our goals. I believe that with the right mindset, with the right setting, with the right boundaries, with the right strategies, I believe that we can be focused and we can also be productive at the same time. In this video, I'll be sharing my top tips on how you can be productive and you can be focused in the year 2025. I hope you will join me to learn more about this. But before I start, kindly subscribe, share, let your loved ones know about the first episode of Connect with Eleanor so that they can learn from it also. The first tip that I'm sharing is set clear goals. I know many people might say, okay, Eleanor is saying that we should set clear goals. I understand exactly what she's trying to say. I've tried this before and it didn't work for me. Just give me time to properly explain exactly what I mean by set clear goals so that you will have a full picture. Setting goals is all about identifying what you want to achieve, putting it down in a book, so that you can be accountable, so that you can run with it. And many people will ask, okay, how do I create or how do I set clear goals? The first thing that is involved in setting clear goals is that you have to be specific. When I mean by specific, let me give you guys an example. Let's say you write, I want to be an engineer. Goal number one, I want to be an engineer. It is not specific enough. Instead of writing something like that, you should probably write something like, okay, I want to enroll in the university to study to be an engineer. Therefore, you need to prepare for your JAM, you need to prepare for the necessary exams that you need to get into the university. So that one is more specific, is more precise than you just stating the goal and not making it clear enough so you can run with it. Because if you say that, okay, I want to be an engineer, there are various ways that you can be an engineer. So you have to be specific about it. You have to make sure that you pin everything down, even to the smallest detail. When you want to set clear goals, it must be specific about it. It must be measurable. What I mean by measurable is that you must know how you will track your progress. It must be something that you are able to evaluate, that you are able to know that, okay, am I actually working on this? That is what I mean by measurable. The third thing that I would say to set clear goals is that it must be achievable. It must be something that it is possible for you to achieve as at this moment in your life. Don't set yourself for failure by aiming too high. I understand the power of God and how God specializes in making impossible things possible, but when you're setting goals, you need to be intentional about it. Let it be something that you know that you can achieve. You have the capacity, you have the right resources before you set such a goal. So that is why when you're setting a goal in the new year, you have to make sure that you are specific. You have to make sure that the goal is measurable, that is, you are able to track your progress, and you have to make sure that it's achievable. It is something that you can achieve within the space of a year, and you know that with the right resources, you can actually do this. Then you have to make sure that they are relevant. Make sure that this goal is something that is relevant. That is, make sure that this goal is something that aligns with your personal values, they align with your priorities, they align with your standards. Don't do something that is against your conscience. Don't set a goal that you're not satisfied with. So make sure that they are relevant to where you're going. Whatever goal you're setting must be relevant to your purpose. It must be relevant to exactly where God has destined you to be. Then another thing that I will say is that make sure your goals are time bound. Make sure there is a specific amount of time that you want to achieve this goal. You have to set deadlines. You have to create a schedule. Okay, how do you want to do this? Are you going to read, let me give you guys an example. Let's say I have a goal to read I have a goal to work on my emotional intelligence this year, and it's not clear enough. So by reading 60 books, I've decided to work on my emotional intelligence. So now, how do I do it? I make sure that my intelligence is something that it can be tracked. It is achievable because I have the capacity to read that amount of book in a year. Then you make sure that okay, am I going to be reading a book per month? Am I going to be reading 2 books per month? So you have to be specific, you have to be intentional, you have to make sure that your goals are time bound. Like I said reading it within a year. So that means my the time for me to achieve that goal is 365 days. So you have to make sure that whatever goals that you want to set in the year 2025 must follow the rule of SMART. SMART. It must be specific, it must be measurable, it must be achievable, it must be relevant, and it must be time bound. Please make sure that you take note of that. Now I want to challenge you to take out your notebook if you have it with you. If you don't have it, probably later, and write or you might already have some goals that you plan to achieve in year 2025, and apply the rule of SMART to it so that it can be a goal that is clear, precise, and specific. Every goal that passes through the rule of SMART is a goal that is clear, it is specific, it is measurable, it is achievable, it is relevant, and it is time bound. That goal that you're setting in the year 2025, make sure they are specific, they are measurable, they are achievable, they are relevant, and they are time bound. Now, the second tip that I would say that can help you to be focused and productive at the same time in the year 2025 is create a schedule and stick to it. It is very, very important. I cannot begin to overemphasize on the value of creating schedules and sticking to it, regardless of how you feel, regardless of the way your schedule is. Once you have goals, you have to create schedules to achieve them. I know some of you might have busy schedules and you're telling yourself, when do I have time to lose weight? When do I have time to work on my emotional intelligence? When do I have time to read spiritual books to work on my spiritual life? When do I have time to read about books on money management, financial management to work on myself? You have to be intentional. So you have to create a schedule. So how do you create a schedule? The first step to creating a schedule is dedicate your time for the focused work. Have a specific time that you're going to be using to achieve that goal. It might be an hour in every day. It might be 30 minutes, depending on how much your capacity can be. Like I always say, it's not about how fast or how swift you're able to do that, but little by little you keep working on yourself every single day. So if it is 30 minutes or 1 hour that you can dedicate towards that particular goal, because many of us, we have so many goals that we want to achieve, and it's not possible to rush yourself to achieve every single one of them, understand, because of the way 24 hours is. So you have to be able to give each of those goals specific time or a number of hours that you're going to be using on each of them every single day. And by writing them in your time diary, I have my time diary, and you might just get a notebook that you're going to be using so that it will be a form of daily evaluation for you to tick and see how far your progress has been. So the first thing I would say is dedicate time for the work. The second thing is that schedule breaks. Have breaks in between. For someone like me, okay, in my schedule, I have time where I read spiritual books. So I make it 1 hour per day. And once I decide that, okay, I may decide that 1 hour per day will be in the midnight. I might decide it will be in the evening when I'm done with my work. When it's in the evening, I decide, okay, from 6 p.m. to 7 p.m. is going to be dedicated to reading spiritual books. So once I'm done with that, I clear my head for like 30 minutes. So make sure you schedule breaks for it. Then prioritize self-care. It is very important. While you're achieving that goal, you might just get some popcorn, some drinks. Just, make sure that you prioritize your self-care when you're achieving those goals and when you're working towards that place that you're getting to. Another thing that I would say is that be flexible. Life is unpredictable. The fact that you were able to achieve that goal today, the second day might be so hectic for you at work that you're not able to even make, let me say, the usual 1 hour that you make towards that goal. But make sure you are intentional, even if it is 10 minutes. Just make sure that every single day you work towards working on yourself and working on those goals. Even if the time is not, how do I say, regular, don't condemn yourself. Keep working on it. If you're able to do 30 minutes today, keep try to push towards making it an hour tomorrow. And if you're not able to, just make sure that you are consistent with that time um that you have dedicated to achieve that goal. I will advise you to take out your time diary or whatever diary you're using and make sure that you work on this second tip that I said. So when you set clear goals, you create a schedule around it and you stick to it. These are the 4 things that is involved in creating a schedule. Dedicate time for it, schedule breaks, prioritize your self-care, and be flexible. Now let's get right into the third tip for making 2025 a productive and focused year. Eliminate distractions. Guys, you will always be distracted. I mean, we are wired by so many things that we see, by our senses. So we have to be intentional when it comes to our time. Now that you have a goal and you have a schedule, you have to be intentional about not getting distracted. So because I believe that, making excuses for you getting distracted is just an act of you deciding not to take action. So how do you eliminate distractions? I would say put your phone on do not disturb, turn off your notification button, especially when you're doing that. But if your work does not permit you, there is no problem, but make sure that your phone does not distract you. It's not that time where you want to read on your finances that your friend she wants to chat you on WhatsApp. You can just reply at another time if it's not something that is really important that she wants to talk to you about. So I would say use apps, use productivity apps. I have some to-do list app on my phone that gives me notification. Okay, have you achieved your goal today? Those apps just give me reminders in between the days to make me remind myself of the goal that I've set to achieve in the day. So then another thing that I would say is that create a distraction-free workplace. Find a place where you will not be distracted by people, by your phone, by your environment when you're working on that particular goal as at that time, even if it is 30 minutes. Then the fourth thing that I would say is that be intentional about the use of your time. Time is a limited resource and you need to be intentional of how you will use your time in the year 2025. So those are the 4 things that you can use to eliminate distractions. It is very important. Then let's get right into the tip 4, which is use productivity tools and apps. I think I talked about it the other time. There are many apps out there that reminds you of the goals that you have set every single day. Some remind you minute by minute, some per hour, some every 5 hours. So depending on the app that you download on your phone, these apps will remind you of, okay, you're yet to achieve. Okay, you said you want to achieve 4 goals today, but you've only achieved 1. So as you're working on those goals, you tick them. As you're doing them, you tick them. So at least to let you know that you're making progress or where you're not making progress. So those apps are very, very important. So that's my tip 4 for it. Find productivity apps, to-do list, calendar, things you can use online to keep track of your time and your goals. Then the 5th tip that I would say is that prioritize self-care. Taking care of yourself is a very important part of staying focused and productive. If you're stressed mentally, physically, emotionally, and you're drained, it is hard for you to work on your goals. It is hard for you to concentrate on making life productive. What does self-care looks like? For me, self-care looks like drinking beverages, taking little time to watch movies and relax, even when I'm in my break time, having enough sleep, relaxing, meditating, going to a quiet environment. So I don't really know what self-care looks like to you, but that's what self-care looks like to me. So we all have our ways of relaxing. So make sure you prioritize your self-care. As much as we have things that we want to achieve in the year 2025, you cannot afford to burn out. It's too early for that. So the tip 5 that I'm going to give you is review and adjust. As you work towards our goals, it is very essential that you review your progress regularly, whether it's every week you check, okay, what have I achieved in this week? What have I achieved in this month? You have to, in areas where, okay, let's say you you were able to evaluate this week and you find out that okay, you've been struggling because of your tight schedule, so readjust it. You have to be flexible when it comes to achieving your goals. The fact that you're able to do 2 hours this week doesn't mean you'll be chance to be able to do 2 hours next week. So you have to be flexible with your time. So I know people want to ask me, how do I review my progress? How do I make sure that I'm keeping track of what I'm doing? For me, I do my own, like I said, weekly. Sometimes I do it weekly, I do it monthly, and I do it half of the year, and then I do it at the end of the year. So it depends on how you want to do yours. So I want to challenge you to schedule regular time where you're going to be reevaluate. You have to evaluate. What have I achieved in the first week of the year 2025? What have I achieved in the first month? How have I worked towards that goal that I've set? How much progress have I made, so that you can challenge yourself. It's not for you to condemn yourself, it's for you to challenge yourself and say, okay, this was where I made mistake. Okay, I think I was distracted because I was not intentional about the use of my cell phone or social media. So it is very important. So those are the 5 tips that can help you to stay focused yet productive in the year 2025. Everyone, I hope you find all these 5 tips very helpful. Remember that staying focused and productive is a journey. Please be flexible. Be flexible, don't condemn yourself. Even if you reevaluate the first week in the year 2025 and you find out that you've been so busy with work that you've not even worked on your emotional intelligence, you've not even read any spiritual book, don't condemn yourself. Take it as a time to be flexible, schedule where you need to. So it takes time, it takes effort, it takes being intentional, but the rewards are very productive. So I would like to say thank you so much for listening. Thank you so much for always supporting Connect with Eleanor. I hope you will share it with your loved ones. I hope you will be intentional. Guys, before I go, I want to give you guys a personal experience that I had in the first week of 2025. I mean, between the 1st of January till, let me say, yesterday, I had so much of a busy schedule that with all the goals that I wrote, I was specific about it. I mean, I followed everything that I'm giving you guys now, and evaluated my progress towards the goal that I plan to achieve in the year 2020. I found out that I was a little bit distracted with work, and I didn't focus enough on those goals and have enough time for it. So I had to tell myself that okay, you need to do more, Eleanor, you need to be intentional. So I had to create another schedule, because it was like the schedule was choking me. I mean, I had so much plans, so much goals to achieve in a day, and yet I still have to work. So these things really affected me a lot. I was really drained. Let me use that word. I was really drained, not physically, just emotionally, because of how. So I had to reevaluate that I'm not a machine. So how do I make sure that this schedule works out for me? So hopefully the second week in 2025 will be wonderful, because at least I've adjusted my schedule and I've made some necessary things that I need. I've been flexible with my time. So hopefully I'll get it right the second week. So like I said, we are all humans. I just share that with you to let you understand that having so much things jam-packed in your schedule doesn't make those goals achievable. You understand? Little by little, you understand? Don't rush yourself. Don't rush yourself. You understand? If it's just 5 goals you can set in a day, go ahead. If you can do 10, go ahead. So it depends on your capacity, please. Because as much as we want to work on ourselves, finances are there, bills are there to settle. So you have so many things taking up your time. So please don't be hard on yourself. Eleanor was not hard on herself this first week. So please don't be hard on yourself. Let's take this second week of the year 2025 to be intentional about our time, to be intentional about our schedule. Just like I have readjusted my schedule, I was not rigid that, okay, yes, I must do this, I must do that. So you too have to be intentional. That is how you'll be focused. That is how you will be productive in the year 2025. Guys, remember that Eleanor loves you so much. In case you have anything you need to share, go to the comment section below, share your experience. Let us know how your schedule has been and how you've worked on it. And guys, in case you want Eleanor, you want to have sections with Eleanor, contact me by our Gmail. We have a Telegram page, we have our Gmail. You can contact me on Instagram at Connect with Eleanor, or on Telegram, or you can send me an email. Eleanor is here for you. Eleanor is here to guide you, and I hope that you will have a wonderful week ahead. Remember that staying productive and focused and intentional is a journey. Please take it one step at a time. Remember that Eleanor loves you. Bye.